Hello, everybody, and welcome to this month's show and tell. We've got Darren Sweet back with us again from Ipsodeckso, and I believe you've got a bit of a festive treat for us this evening. Two
Yeah,
two Christmas themed decks.
yeah, two Christmas themed decks, both quite different actually. So it's going to be fun to show them. One's the first one I'm going to show you is dead simple to use, and it's one just to have a bit of kind of fun Christmas conversation during team meetings or any kind of festive get-togethers. So I've created that a dead easy pack to use, so it can be used for 5 minutes or 20 minutes, however long people want to use it. So I'll do that one first. And then we'll go on to the other one after. That's a little bit trickier, but fun at the same time. So I will get my screen up and share into my browser onto the first deck. Okay, so let me know when you can see that, Sarah.
I can, yep.
Brilliant.
The
Okay.
Great Christmas Debate.
Yeah, so it's the Great Christmas Debate. And I've deliberately chosen light-hearted topics. So I haven't included anything, for example, around sort of commercialism or Christianity or inclusion. I've just gone for the kind of light-hearted fun stuff.
Yeah.
And then within that, I've also added a few cards that are Let's Get Warm and Fuzzy, which is about sort of having some Christmas conversation. So people might be having kind of a passionate debate about a silly Christmas topic that's on one of the cards. And yeah, that might be sort of throwing things into the conversation, and then let's slow things down a bit and talk about something sort of warm and fuzzy. So I've deliberately put both in just to start kind of change the pace of things. And literally, all people need to do is bring up the card deck, select it on the stack bar over here on the right, give the deck a shuffle, and then just pull out a card, which is a random selection, flip the card over, and have a debate about it. So the first one is Secret Santa, good or bad idea. What are your thoughts on that one, Sarah?
Uh yeah, I used to quite enjoy Secret Santa, I must admit. But sometimes you get that situation. I remember one situation being a little bit mortified where something that I'd put quite a lot of effort into, as in not just gone out and bought, but actually made something. And obviously, when people open their gifts, they usually don't know who it's from unless it's all gone horribly wrong. And she was quite dismissive of it, so I was a little bit
Oh,
upset. But I
that
think
is,
I don't think that relates to Secret Santa being a good or bad idea. Just one particular bad experience that I had.
yeah,
How
I'm
about
kind
you?
of I'm kind of a bit in both camps on this one as well, because I've had the experience where you have somebody to buy for example, and you get them something and you get nothing in return because they've not done it or kind of forgotten about it, which is like, oh, all the effort I went through to sort that out and deliberately matched what I thought would be a good present to you, and you haven't even kind of thought about it in return. And
Ah,
sometimes I always think about the budget side of things for it as well, because it depends what team you're on and what company you're working for and how much they set as a budget. And and some people are sort of going really kind of at the low end, and other people are going sort of at the higher end. So I think more thought sometimes needs to be put into that as well. In
yeah,
principle, in principle, I love
yeah.
Secret Santa. I think it's a really good thing. It's
But as
just
you say, some people don't necessarily join in, do they? And then things can get a little bit divisive, and feelings can get hurt, and
yeah.
so on
Or
and so forth.
I've even had one over the years where I know that the person that gave me the gift, I could tell that it was something used that was quite old. And they just kind of wrapped that up and given it to me. I was like, oh, thank you very much. That's very kind of you.
Is that maybe just because they were very, very forgetful?
Probably. I
So
think
it'd
it's
sort of
like,
be like that's the sort of thing that would happen to me. It's sort of like wake up on the morning that Secret Santa's supposed to be happening and go, oh my goodness, Secret Santa, and then end up getting like an out of date tin of pineapple or something like that out of my
oh,
cupboard.
I haven't got any wrapping paper. I better use a newspaper.
Yeah, yeah,
Right. But yeah,
yeah. The out of date tin of pineapple in an old Greg's bag.
oh, brilliant. Yeah, so literally, it's just a case of Well,
That
offers
sounds
money's
like
all
far too much information, doesn't it? It sounds like something I've actually done. It isn't. I've just made that up.
right. Greg's bad. And that comes back to one that you were saying just a moment ago.
Oh yeah,
Should all gifts be handmade? Not
I
necessarily
think so.
expensive.
Yeah, I've got to, because I love making. I think all my gifts should be handmade because I enjoy doing it so much. And I know that sounds quite selfish, but I do think there's that thing, isn't there, about giving gifts that it can be quite a selfish activity in some ways.
Yeah.
That you
I
kind of you give gifts for the pleasure it gives you. It's not, I mean,
yeah.
it's not selfish in a bad way, but you know what I mean.
I think the handmade side of things, it means you've put a lot of thought into something as well. And you've put the time and the effort into the gift, which
Mm.
is really nice. And it takes away again, like in schools, how much did your parents spend on you this year?
Yeah.
I remember that going on when I was kind of at school, and we were not a wealthy family, and you get those comparisons going on in schools and things. So I think it's quite a nice idea if all gifts were handmade. Then I
Yeah.
suppose you've got the arguments on the flip side that have you got the time to do it? Have people got the skills to hand make things, or are they going to give something that's just going to fall apart on day one? Because it's really bad.
But I think everybody can do something up to their skill level, can't they? But I
Yeah.
mean, I think definitely, particularly sort of in this day and age, God, I sound like my grandmother. There's definitely an imperative for that kind of thing because we do consume far too much,
Yeah.
and sort of reusing, upcycling, all of those things should be where we're at. But yeah, you're right. The thought, I think, is a really important part of that.
Yeah. I mean, or maybe it could be a balance of the two, sort of maybe one gift every year from like parents to their children or whatever could be handmade along with some things that they've bought. I don't know. I just think it's a good one
Yeah,
to
I mean,
good one.
in my mind, it's sort of like, well, sort of, it's giving something of actual value because it's sort of like saying, have you got time to make something? But your time is way more valuable than money.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the sort of the thinking about somebody a lot comes in. If you make them something rather than giving to them, you're actually giving them something. You're giving them something of yourself, and giving something that has been of real value to you because you won't get that time back.
Yeah, this is very true. So yeah, there's another one, regifting, or is it stingy or sensible? Well, I'll just flick through a few so we don't
Both, really. Nothing
I
wrong with stingy, though.
was just thinking of that Secret Santa that I had.
Yeah.
And then the warm and cozy ones as well. Let's pull a couple of those out just to show you what's on there, and then we'll go on to the other deck. So it could be, just getting people to think of those kind of warm, cherished memories, and I think when people are sharing that kind of stuff, it gives people a good insight into maybe what their childhood or family life is like, and it's a good kind of team building activity in that sense to learn more about people, just to find what they really care about. Put another one out, and then we'll have a look at this one, then go on to another deck. Describe your perfect festive setting. What's your perfect?
You might need to change that one.
What am I
You've
doing?
got the C missing in describe.
Ah, let me write this down. It won't take me long to sort.
Just goes to show that show and tell is not contrived in any way whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it really is just a chat between two people. Thoughts and all.
Well picked up, Sarah. Well picked up. So sorry, go on, Sarah.
My perfect festive setting is where I am now. As long as the fire's lit. Has to be a fire.
What sort of fire have you got?
Got a wood burning stove.
Oh, nice.
Making the most of it before they get banned.
Yeah, that sounds nice and cozy.
It is cozy. It's lovely.
I think when I was putting that card together, I was thinking about kind of log cabin in Scandinavia with the family there, and again a nice open fireplace, and yeah, just a really cozy indoors with a cold outdoor sort of setting. Be
Definitely.
lovely. But
Yeah.
it's probably quite similar with a lot of people, I think. That type of stuff. So that's deck one. So hopefully people can have a bit of fun. And
Yeah,
as I
that'd be
say,
lovely for a sort of office party, wouldn't it?
yeah, exactly. And it may be that it's a section that they use within a wider festive gathering they're having, where they might be having like I don't know, some sort of quiz, and they want to
Yeah.
break it up with this sort of thing. So yeah, I just thought it'd be nice because you can just do one card if you want, or you can do a whole bunch of them and have it take longer. So
Yeah. You can
that,
almost see them coming out of a cracker, can't you?
yeah. Yeah, and there's some interesting ones in there. I did originally put one in about sprouts or no sprouts on the Christmas dinner, but
Oh, sprouts, definitely.
I changed that in the end to
That would what because it would be too contentious.
no, not too contentious. I thought it was too limiting as a subject, so I made it more about the wider Christmas dinner and the
How would
best
you have your
best
sprouts?
worst elements. See, for me, sprouts they shouldn't even be on the plate because
Oh,
I don't like them at all.
you're
So
just wrong. You're just wrong. What you need is sprouts, sort of fried up with a bit of chili, some walnuts, and maybe in orange juice or something like that. Really delicious. Maybe a little bit of bacon.
see, that makes them sound a lot more interesting. I think when I was young, my mum used to just boil them and then try to hide them under something else on my plate to see if she could fool me into eating them.
Look, I love sprouts.
Never used to work
With or without marzipan. Now, when I was a kid, um, my sister and she used to hate the icing, and I used to hate the marzipan. So we used to sort of separate the two out and give each other
that.
the marzipan or the icing.
Yeah, I'm a disliker of marzipan as well. But the
I like
icing,
it now,
I've never been able to take to it at all.
but as a child, I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I thought I'd get the marzipan one in there.
So
Um,
I guess like every month, you're going to make. So I guess people are going to get a double whammy this month. Then two
yeah,
decks going
so,
into the free tier. Yeah.
yeah, and as you can see, I've already put these two into the free tier, so they're already there.
Uh-huh.
So this next one, so do you recall, and I don't know if they still make them, I haven't seen one for a while, but you used to get those sliding puzzles that you could have in your hand and there would be a gap in the picture and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
you mix it up and slide it around. Well, I
yeah.
thought it'd be quite interesting to create a card deck that does the same thing. So that's
Ah,
essentially what I've done here. Because I've never seen this done, but I just thought it was quite a nice format to be able to do it. It takes a minute or so to set them up, but other than that, I've had a play with it and it seems to work quite well.
I
So what
haven't
I've
I
done,
haven't seen one for ages, but my husband references them all the time, mainly with reference to like us doing this house up. That it feels a bit like a sliding tile puzzle because you're constantly having to move stuff around and trying to make a gap that you can actually do some work, and then move
um,
everything around again so you can do some work on the next bit.
brilliant. I'll have to
This
come
is the
round to
problem with living in the house you're doing up.
yeah. So what I've done is I've put a quick guide together for anyone that perhaps hasn't used the sliding puzzles. I mean, it's a dead simple guide, but I'm
Yeah.
going to talk. I'm going to talk us through it anyway. So I'll just click past the guide cards. So there's just two guide cards. I think it's two, and then I've just put an image template in there just so people know what image they're working towards when they're using it. Now,
Okay.
clearly looking at this, you can see that if I'm doing 4x4, the cards are going to be too big for the tabletop.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go into the browser and knock my tabletop down to 75% and put it into full screen mode. And then I'm going to shuffle this stack so they're randomized. And I'm going to pull the cards out and then put them in just in light. This is the bit that takes a little while, and something's gone wrong here. Let me just. Right, right, the
First one.
cards. I've got a bug. I've got a bug
Oh
there.
no.
Is it working now? Right, okay, let's move them out of the way as I do it and see if that helps. So, see, I've got my zoom bar at the top getting in the way here.
You're a developer on the naughty list then?
Yeah, something's gone wrong here, hasn't it? Right, I'm going to come out of the deck and go back in. Right, so I've pulled all the cards out. I'm going to put them right over to the right just to try and avoid my Zoom browser thing. It may be that I might take the size down a little bit more just to, in fact, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, let's do that. Stop sharing for a moment. I'm going to take the size down a bit more just to get away from that Zoom browser. Okay, so I've knocked it down to about 65%, which seems to work quite well. It takes it away from the Zoom bar at the top, and the cards are still big enough to be able to kind of make out what's going on. So you can see I've deliberately left the space somewhere in the middle. And I shuffled the deck just before I started to put them out to randomize it. Then I chucked them all randomly over the deck, all over the tabletop anyway, which randomized it even more. So we've got them all out, and then we flip them all over. We'll see what a mess we're in with the position.
So what would you do? Get a team to solve this together?
Yeah, I think it can either be used with a team solving it together, because some people are probably going to take to it more than others, just as with the sliding puzzles of the past. Some people used to do them really quickly. I was one of those people that could never finish it, but I used to enjoy trying to do them anyway. And then quite literally, before I start trying to do a little bit of it, I think it's also could be quite good for people to just have in the background when they're working and they want a little break.
Yeah.
So if they're just on their own and they've opened up their Ipsodeckso, you can just be sat there in the browser and they want to do something festive. Okay, I'll go another 5-minute play on the sliding puzzle. So it's just useful to be able to just be there in the background, or using a team meeting. You could, one thing I have found is quite easy to do with Ipsodeckso is to just, when you're in a table, you can just copy the URL into the chat, and then you can just paste that into the chat if you go into breakout rooms as well, and it just opens the same table up, but it would be independent from the other tables. So you
could do against the clock then?
Yeah, essentially, which could be quite fun to see how close people get.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially it's so you've got this over on this
side. I see the picture again?
Yeah, so I'm just going to click across, and there's the whole picture. So we know that we've got our Santa in the middle and kind of things around, and then it's just going to be a case of, with no cheating whatsoever, because you would be able to cheat with this if you kind of pushed it enough. Just start moving things into the positions where you think they're
basically the equivalent of taking the stickers off your Rubik's Cube and sticking them back on again.
Exactly. But if you're anything like me, and as I was saying earlier in the past, I used to be quite rubbish at these, I probably would end up cheating as well. Allow yourself 2 cheats or something per image. But as you can see, it's quite easy to manipulate the cards about to start moving them into position. I don't know how easy it is if I handled you remote control with any drag that we might have, but I've just handed you remote control to see how easily you might be able to drag the cards about.
Let's have a go. Yeah, probably be easier if I had a mouse rather than a
on a pad.
Yeah,
I was just using
that's my own silly fault, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks as though it's working relatively easily for anybody to be able to do. I think in Zoom it's one person at a time, isn't it, to be able to give remote control, and then in some other programs everybody can have a kind of free-for-all with it.
Yeah, now I'm stuck. That wasn't what I wanted to do at all, was it?
Yeah, I'm just thinking
I
that
get
cup.
the feeling what I should probably do is sort out the top first and then work my way down.
Yeah, I'll bet there is a preferred
Yeah,
kind
I
of
think
technique with
that
this,
would
isn't there?
be so. If I get those two, sorry, I'm mucking up your beautiful arrangement somewhat.
That's fine. It can be
But it's
tidied up at the end, can't
slipshod solving.
it?
So I reckon because those two
Oh
go,
yeah, those two are the top left, aren't they?
yeah. And now I've got to go all the way around. But I reckon that's the way to do it.
And then just slowly try and find a way to work the others down.
Yeah. Because then I can just restrict my moving to the 3x4 then, in theory, can't I, if I get the top bits sorted out first. So that one goes there, that one goes there, and I need to leave those where they are. And then,
Oh, and then you've got the next piece just below the gap. Well, it looks of it to
have
drop
I?
up to get the rest of the sleighs next to the
Oh,
lantern.
yeah. So now I've got to, what's the next bit?
Oh, so
That
the
one,
top
isn't
right
it?
corner is that one, yeah.
It's this one. I need to move.
Is it really tempting to just drag it across?
It is, but I'm going to resist that temptation. Somehow I've got to get that out of the way. Oh, hang on.
I'm sure I remember
Oh
when I
no.
was younger trying to find ways of opening a gap up to store something in there for later that you can then drop back out that creates a space to move things around. I know there was a method, but I can't quite remember
Yeah, there
what.
definitely is a method, and it's kind of like a spiraling thing. But what I should have done is started with the top right, I think. Anyway,
Yeah, I think
I think I shall leave it at that for now because
I think the final gap ends up being on the bottom right.
yeah.
It's the I probably should have put that on the guide card so that they know where that is. I might do that actually to show where the gap is. Show gap. I can insert that over the next couple of days. So yeah, and that is our two festive card decks. So
Excellent.
stop the share there.
They're a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah, I've been thinking for quite a while that I wanted to do a sliding deck, and I think the main reason I haven't up to this point was because I tend to put the card decks together in Canva, and I knew that there would be a frustration in creating those, like getting the big image and then knowing where to get the kind of gaps and cut it up and to place them onto the cards. So it just took a while to do, but I thought this is a good opportunity to do it for a festive thing. So yeah, and there it is. So as I say, that's already in there. So as soon as that goes out, then people can start using it straight away. And I'll leave it on for the entire festive period. So I'll take it down in the new year sometime and pop it into
12th night.
Pop it, yeah.
Take it down in January the 6th.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's bad luck.
Yeah, true. So yeah, I'll take it down then, and then we'll stick it back up again next year. But I'll pop it into one of the memberships in the interim.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what else have you got in the pipeline then? Have you got any sort of plans?
Well, I still need to get back to work on the escape room one that I started. Because I started to create that. I think I put something on LinkedIn about it. And then I got sidetracked with other card decks, and I need to kind of go back to it. But I know that one's going to take a while to do, because it's a case of coming up with all of the clues and everything for it. I figured out how it's going to work. So I've got all that in place. It's just a case of coming up with all the puzzles now. So but that's the one I probably want to get to work on next, I think. And I've been talking to my developer today as well, with regards to the tabletop, and just various functionality and things going forward, because like the full screen and the zooming of individual cards is something I want people to be able to do quite easily without having to faff around within the web browser. So those will be added onto the tabletop next as well, just to be able to zoom in and out on individual cards and just do that full screen much easier, because it's nice to be able to create that extra real estate on tabletop.
I know what I'd like you to work on next.
What's that?
Because I really do enjoy the countdown on a Thursday in LinkedIn. Because you need to do the numbers.
Yeah, I could put the numbers into the same card deck.
Yeah.
To be honest. I could, because there's 2 stacks in there. I could just put them in as a stack 3.
Yeah.
And then they could just.
You'd have to have separate stacks, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, the different levels of numbers.
Yeah, because you've got, what was it? 2 from the middle, 1 from the top, 1 from the bottom. So I think the top ones were sort of single-digit ones, weren't they? Or up to 10. And then you've got, yeah. But that was my favourite thing about Countdown, that and the conundrum. But
they could actually still go in one stack and just change the colour coding so people know which is which. So I could still put it within the same card deck, so it all kind of works together. So yeah, okay. I'll have a think about that over the festive period for you. So try and get it in place ready for next year.
Anyway, that is absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much for bringing those 2 decks. Yeah, and
me, as usual.
Any hints about the next one? Have you got any thoughts about what you're going to show us next?
I don't know. I don't know.
Mysterious.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few on there, so it's what direction do I want to take it? So, don't know.
Have you got anything about resolutions?
No, nothing on that. I don't know. It'll likely be something that's not team development next time, because I've done a number of team developments, which is my strength, team development stuff. But there's other stuff on there as well that I'd like to pick something out that's a bit different, maybe. So
cool. Well, I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, thank you very much for that, and looking forward to next time.
Nice to see you.
Thanks, Darren.
As always, I'll shoot you the images over as well,
okay.
which I've already done.
Excellent. Thank you.
Right. You take care of yourself.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye bye.